afternoon. I would like to welcome you, everyone, to our CED Office Hour Live. I am Ambrose Moses, an extension educator with the Community and Economic Development Program Unit here at Central State University, part of the Cooperative Extension Service. You will get to meet our team and hear more about extension as we get into the discussion part of our hour. CED Office Hour Live is simply an hour that we set aside to talk and share thoughts, ideas, and information that we think is interesting, impactful, or important. Each month, one of the CED Extension educators picks the topics and facilitates the Thursday afternoon sessions for that month. This is my month, December. I always find December to be an exciting and invigorating time of year. As a child, that probably had a lot to do with the Christmas season. As an entrepreneur and a professional who advises, counsels, and represents entrepreneurs, I have come to see and utilize December as a time to reset and plan for the coming year. Many times as I talk with folks during this time of year, I'm always sort of forward looking. The Christmas to Kwanzaa to New Year's Day period provides sort of a natural break and opportunity to pause, evaluate where you are, where you want to go, and to pivot or make changes if necessary. Which brings us to our topic for the day, the golden circle. There are only two ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it or you can inspire it. This idea is captured in the concept known as the golden circle, which was made popular by Simon Sinek in his book, Start With Why. It is based upon the premise that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Why is it that some leaders and organizations are able to inspire greater loyalty and engagement among their customers and employees? How are they able to achieve and sustain inordinate amounts of success year after year? Whether they realize it or not, all great and inspiring leaders and organizations think, act, and communicate in the same way. And it is the complete opposite from everyone else. Every single organization on the planet, even our own careers, function on three levels: what, how, and why. Every organization on the planet knows what they do. These are the products they sell or the services that they offer to their customers. Some organizations know how they do it. These are the things that make them special or that set them apart from their competition. Very few organizations know why they do what they do. Why is not about making money. That aspect is a result. Why is a purpose, a cause, or a belief. It is the very reason that your organization exists. When these three pieces are aligned, it gives us a filter through which to make decisions. It provides a foundation for innovation and for building trust. When all three pieces are in balance, others will say with absolute clarity and certainty, we know who you are. We know what you stand for. So in terms of myself, as I look at it, I have a number of different titles and wear a lot of hats in my life. But among all the things that I do in terms of business, legal practice, family, and what have you, I am an extension educator with Central State University's Cooperative Extension Service. So what do we do in extension as an organization? Through extension, land-grant colleges and universities bring vital, practical information to agricultural producers, small business owners, consumers, families, and young people. As you can see, we have a little something for everyone. Within the Community and Economic Development Unit, we work with businesses, organizations, and communities. Ready, Set, Grow is our original and core business development program, upon which much of my work with Extension is built. Ready, Set, Grow serves businesses at all levels from entrepreneurs to mature. It serves both businesses and agribusinesses. My core programs help individuals in establishing a sound foundation upon which to build their business or their agribusiness. Business planning is an important part of establishing a foundation for one's business. It is sometimes a complex process. Our 4-page business plan breaks down the process into manageable and easily understood steps, thus helping entrepreneurs we serve to establish that sound foundation for their operations. The legal structure of a business is one of the first decisions that will be made concerning the ownership, liability, and tax consequences involved with that business's operations. We introduce and help entrepreneurs to understand the basic options so that when they work with their legal and accounting professionals, they will make better informed decisions. In 2020, last year, as we saw in Extension, as we saw the impact of COVID-19, we decided to develop a program named Primer to address the need for disaster management education in the communities that we serve across the state. One objective of disaster management education is to increase the community's awareness as to what emergency and disaster management is, which is just the foundation aspect of that. Many of the communities that are at risk don't know these things. So after researching the CDC's, or Center for Disease Control and Prevention, social vulnerability index, and engaging with some of our community stakeholders, disaster preparedness for businesses stood out as an unmet need. To address this need, we developed the program, the 3 R's of disaster preparedness. A crucial part of preparedness is planning for the eventuality of an emergency or disaster. Thus, our second disaster management education program is Disaster Preparedness, the Business Continuity Plan. In this class, participants are introduced to the 6 steps of the business continuity planning process. So that's what we do. How do we do what we do in Extension? Well, in much the same way as the first cooperative extension agent and the folks at Tuskegee Institute with the Movable School, who did outreach and took important education out to farmers and their families during that time when the country was much more rural in terms of the placement of our residents, of our citizens. We take extension education and training out to the communities across Ohio through efforts and collaborations with stakeholders like the SBA in Columbus, the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture and Natural Resource Conservation Service, NRCS, in Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. We do outdoor functions with urban farmers and agribusinesses. When the Movable School goes to the people, you meet people where you can, meet them where they are, which could be outside. You know, we do classes and presentations outside when that's where the group is getting together. Or we will have semi-outside locations in high tunnels, greenhouses, wherever the typically agribusinesses are located that we're serving. Or even bigger versions of that when they're having larger gatherings and when they bring in various traveling dignitaries who come to the region. We basically take the education where the people are. We've even had occasion to be requested to engage with middle school and high school students concerning some of the civic duties, such as free speech issues that a lot of young people were discussing in 2019, when they were engaged in various protests in communities across Ohio and America. And young people wanted to know what they could not do, what rights they had. And so in addressing that, part of our what we do and how we do it, we taught them about the methodology of direct action as practiced by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and many other named and unnamed civil rights activists. So to do what we do, all we need is space, a message, and the people. But why do we do what we do? I have, during my time, I shared this quote that does capture the why in terms of my work in Extension. It is captured in the words, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." So why? Why do we do what we do? It is because we are here to change the world. Now, that is one man's perspective. What I would like to know and open up the floor is to know what you think. All right, so let me stop this and we can get into our little discussion here. All right. Okay, did it take down the sharing now? I don't see.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you for that. All right. So so that's just an overview of the golden circle and the concept of start with your why. So the first question then is or two questions. What do you think about that? And what is your why? Is it really important? And what is your why? Would anyone like to start with theirs or share theirs? Or do you have a why? So we got a quiet group today. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing well. No, I've been struck by David Senek's work since I first saw that, and I think it really is valuable, and especially when he illustrates what the examples, and including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, so I think people know I definitely feel very motivated by my why and coming to this work. I feel strongly that I'm here to build flourishing communities, and so I see Extension as you say, education and Extension as a means to do that. So that's definitely the why is very, very important to me, and okay. I think I appreciate.
I think it froze there. I'm not sure if it's mine or I think it froze there for a second, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Mike, I see you opened your camera. Did you want to contribute or share something? You're on mute.
You got to unmute yourself, Mike.
The mic, it might be at the top. Do you see it at the top of your screen, the microphone?
Because it won't let me override it. You might be able to do it, Ambrose.
Let me see. No, it won't let me unmute him. Okay.
Mike, do you see a microphone icon you see in front of your name? You see it has that block on your microphone?
You just click on it. If you see it, just click on it and that'll take the line off of it and it'll open up your mic.
We can't hear you.
Okay, yeah, we're still not hearing you. It's not unmuting. So, so you want to work on it for a second and then let us know once you're able to get it open.
And you can also
Miss-
put it in the chat as well, whatever your topic was.
Oh yeah. Feel free to do that as well, Mike, to share it into the chat. So, Mr. Barwick, you opened your camera there. What's your why? Why don't you share with us?
Well, you know, that was I thought that was an interesting concept when you talk about your whys. There's so many whys, you know, that we have as individuals. Like you were talking about, you know, you're a father, you're an attorney, you're an educator. So when we talk about our whys, there's so many hats. But for me, the why in extension and is important. The why for me is actually assisting people. I actually like working to assist people, and not just esoteric kind of topical kind of stuff. I really like to see a change, and that's one thing that this job is allowed us to do, is to actually work with people. When you get to assist someone in establishing a business, or you get them getting them assistance with a GED or record sealing or just information, something happens. And I think there's some kind of euphoric feeling when you can help someone and then you want to continue it. So, and I would like to believe that I would like for someone to help me. So if I have information to share, then I need to share it, because at the end of the day, all of this is information. This is information that people may not know, may not have access to, but then something happens once they've been provided information. And it's so interesting how you can use information to your advantage. You can even use information to exploit, you know. So, and you got to be careful with that. And I think that's what that's what constantly happens in our society. Mm-hmm. They exploit information. Then once they have the information, then they actually can kind of twist it to their own agenda, mm-hmm. and this kinds of things. But to me, the critical part again is assisting people, and I love assisting people and to help them help themselves.
Right. Yeah, I can. Thank you for sharing that, and I can identify with that. And it seemed that you started to also then go into some of the how you do it in terms of, you said, providing that information. But you raised a point about, you know, providing or sharing that information. It can be, you know, done for good or done for bad kind of thing. And I think that is true. And that is one of those things where I think that extension is uniquely situated to help address, to be that resource for the community statewide, to deliver as a trusted source, to deliver that information across that entire territory. So I think that you highlight a very important point there, because really nowadays, folks really do need to have trusted sources of information. You know, yeah. So that's interesting. Really good. Anyone else have any thoughts or comments on how Anthony sort of took us into that area in terms of how you do what you do, or how your organization does what it does? Or the importance of that, or do you think much about how you do what you do, or how you how your why impacts how you do what you do?
Ambrose, I have a comment.
Mhm.
And you and I talked about this the other day. Like I fully buy into the why, the mission of extension, and that's what attracted me to the job. But I also have a why me, um, and it's that sort of why is this important to me personally, and why am I the one? Not the only one, but why me? Why am I good for this position? And I think that's what makes for a good feeling in a job that you have, especially when you take a new job, is
Mm.
that what expertise do I bring to the table and how am I self fulfilled by sharing what I have? For me, you know, I'm old, 25 years of experience, and experience that other companies trained for me to be an expert in, suffered at times for me to become an expert in. And now I have this body of work, this body of knowledge that surely must be helpful to somebody. But I felt like that the first time that I read the job description for extension, and that was that, how do you see your own personal capacity with regards to a job, and what do you have that actually contributes to that job? Why you? And that's really just a step further down the road about what we're talking about. But, when you're in a position to be able to buy into the mission of a place that you're working or an organization that you're serving, even in your free time, you have to also think about that personal capacity about what you bring to the table. And sometimes it doesn't have to be 25 years of a body of work. Sometimes it can only be a willingness or a passion about something or a willingness to learn more and to suffer through all the other stuff that you have to suffer through to help you get to that point where you have that sort of self-fulfilling component to what you're doing, and that's hugely important to me.
Right.
In every job I've ever had from the very beginning, I've never felt like I wanted to do something that was terribly commercial, but something that also created an impact, um, and in some cases just on my immediate world, not necessarily the greater world. I'm not out there, but in my local world, yeah. So anyway, just that's my thoughts on the subject. So
All right. Thank you for sharing. I can identify with that, and it sort of brings to mind, and I had shared with you all before how when I saw the job description, uh, when I applied, it just hit me like, wow, this is like what I've been looking for when I didn't even know that it existed. And basically, it gave me the feeling that a lot of things I had been volunteering to do, I would be paid to do what I was volunteering to do. So it's a labor of love. I mean, so yeah, so I can identify with what you're saying. Amber, did you have something to share?
Yeah. So pretty much the same as Paige. Um, in the beginning of my career, I'm just like a sponge, just trying to learn, 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 learn. You go through the growing pains, right? And now I'm at this stage where I have this wealth of information, and I've always shared information anyway, but now I can share it at a whole new level. I like to create new things or look at different ways that we can apply the things we know. And it's because of all those different experiences in different fields. So when I saw this, the challenge to me was this opportunity with extension was to learn agriculture, right? I was like, oh, that's one sector I haven't worked in and I can apply, but I did over here and here, and it's the same type of work, but a whole new group of people. Um, and that's the innovation, right? Because you get to apply all your other experiences and put it into the CED work that we do. And what's impact is in relationship building are the two most important things to me. And seeing things when I help someone with their housing, get their first house, I don't remember their name. That was 30 years ago, right? But they'll say, "Hey, Amber," like I just talked to them yesterday. I ain't seen them in 30 years. But having that feedback, like, wow, I'm on my second house, and you know what? We mapped out. I did it, and now I'm about to buy some rental property. So they expanded, and you help them realize their dream, right? So in entrepreneurship, people think, oh, I can't do this, and then you show them tidbits of information and give them some strategies, and now they're booming businesses, right? These are things that sustain over time and its impact once again in the local community. So our little things we add in the local communities, right, really impacts the global community. So that's that, you know, think globally but act locally. And I think all of us do that. And it's just doesn't seem like work when it's in your passion. And this is my passion. So
Right.
I get up, I'm not like, oh, I gotta go log in. I'm like, okay, what project am I gonna work on today? And who am I gonna get to help today? And I can't wait to talk to my teammates, right? So that's me. I'm nerdy like that. But just seeing the impact and knowing that the things we put in place now is still gonna have a positive impact on the community and the individual and that family for
Hmm.
years to come. So that's my why.
Okay. All right. All right. And it sounds like thank you for sharing that. And it sounds like you were talking about some of the how as well. Which I think is a very important component of that. Um, so, Mike, have you been able to work your microphone yet there, or no? Yeah, I want to hear what he has to say. Um,
Well, Mike, if you're on your phone, sometimes if you tap the bottom part of your screen, that mic will show up and then you can tap the mic because sometimes it disappears when you've been on a while. So you can try that. Does Val or Crystal or Hunter have anything? Hunter did say that she's enjoying the conversation. So we'd like to hear how you're enjoying the conversation and feel free to add.
right.
I'm
So,
here. Hi, guys. It's
hello.
Crystal. Do you want me to turn my camera on by any chance? I don't know if it'll be choppy, but I can if you want me to.
Well, whatever works for you. You can go without it first.
Okay, so I just, sorry, I was on a phone call just there, but I did want to kind of chime in just to give an introduction to myself. I'm the Regional Extension Associate for the Southern Region. So I work with, well, the entire CED team, but more specifically Amber. And I would like to just say one of the how/whys for me would be, of course, being a parent, always being able or making sure that I set a good example for my son because he is watching. Working at my alma mater is a wonderful why because it's something that it allowed me to come back home on a different scale, on a different level. And also, as far as the work that the regional extension associates do, I like the bridging of the gaps because when I go out into the Southern region, it's really easy for people to say, I've never heard of Central State University before. So I think a lot of very intricate and delicate conversations really happen in that gray space of not knowing what Central State University Extension is, what we can provide, and how we can bridge those gaps between CED, if they may be an urban farmer who's just beginning, or if they just come out of they're being released into society again, and really having those conversations with people who need services that they didn't even know extension rendered. So I like that. And I also am customer service oriented because all the career paths I've chosen in my life have been in the customer service sector. You have to, I like to say, you have to be a little crazy to be a flight attendant. So, judge me if you will. But I definitely, that is a passion. So serving others in a sense of being able to be fulfilled. I believe Anthony mentioned that as well, being of service. And that is definitely something that I enjoy, just learning the ropes and the how. So be it because of the pandemic shifting to virtual and learning how to utilize technology, to me that's a how because I wasn't super versed in a lot of things like that. And another why is just being, like Amber mentioned, impactful. Being a sponge, learning, being able to say, you know what, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to go in it with an attitude of I'm going to master this so that I can be impactful for the communities that we serve. So that is my how/why.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. That was excellent. Amber, could you enable Michael's mic and camera, microphone and camera? Um, yeah, thank you, Crystal, for that. And so it would be interesting. Then I'd like to hear it. In the presentation, we said that it is that all organizations know what they do. I know now we've heard the why, we've heard the how, but I guess I want to hear from your perspective. Anyone who wants to share, what is it that your organization does? So for my folks here uh, uh, with Extension, you could talk about that. For our guests, whatever you work with, whatever organizations you work with, what do they do? And it's not a test for my Extension folks. Everyone should pass it though, but so anyone want to start?
If from a supervisor's perspective, what I'm supposed to do is to create programs, right? And as a program leader, that's my title. But what's supposed to happen for a program leader with educators is I'm supposed to make sure that I provide the educators information to disseminate to the public, right? But what I like to do with my team that I'm fortunate is what I like to do is tap into the educators' skill sets. I am not the expert, the subject matter expert over everything. And so I've just been fortunate to have a great a great team with experience. So then what I get to do is tap into the educators' experiences and they come up, and you guys have come up with some great concepts. So then it makes what I do better and it makes what I do enjoyable, because then I get to listen to you guys and then I just kind of just pick what you've done, pick what you suggest, piece something together, give it to you and get your feedback, and then we can roll it out. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. So then imagine then what the end user or our citizens get to appreciate. So that to me is a winning team. And that's what I do. And I'm glad to do it. And I just hope that the program leaders are doing that, are following the same model. Everyone has their own leadership style, but at least for CED and with the edge and even with the critical optimum, when we have our REAs who get what we do, then they can then share the information to audiences and contacts that we may not be able to reach. So that's what I'm able to do as a program leader with Extension.
Okay. Yeah. And that's interesting. In terms of sharing from that perspective as the program leader, that sort of goes to the point. I think it was Paige, may have been Amber, talking about the individual. The individuality of it, or looking at the individual's role. So you do have your role as a program leader, what it does or what you do in that role, but then even there, your personal approach to it then impacts your the specifics of what you do and how you execute that. So wow, that's interesting. We're getting into some I think some really good nuances of our topic here today. Now, I did see that message that Mike was sharing, but I think that we have enabled the camera and the microphone, but the muting, I think, has to be done. Oh, you're unmuted. You're unmuted now, Mike.
Yes, somebody made me a presenter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I tried it. I said, let me try to make him presenter and see if he can get it unmuted. So it worked. Go ahead,
All
Michael.
right.
So that may be why we've only heard from Extension staff, unless nobody else is experiencing the same problem that I was. But I wanted to get back to the why. I'm an urban farmer in Cleveland and started back in 2009. And I really didn't get started in urban agriculture specifically for food, but I was working as a chemical dependency counselor, and I was looking for something that my clients could do other than sit in classes all day and listen to people tell them how not to do drugs and alcohol. And the site that I worked at had about an acre of grass that they weren't using. And we turned that into an urban garden. And over the years, I found that it was hard to get at least urban people in the neighborhood we were in to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. They told us that's what Save-A-Lot is for. And so we had to start doing a lot of education around not just fruits and vegetables, but why these, why fresh. And as I started maturing into my 50s, noticed that a lot of African American men and women were having negative health outcomes. My wife and I really started to focus on health disparities, and the phrase that we've all heard before, you are what you eat, helping people understand the microbiology of food, the impact of good food, bad food. And so our why now is more about helping African Americans live better and longer by learning how to eat better.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, that's amazing. That's like some very complimentary to the work that we do, or to the system that Extension provides. So what about your how, in terms of how you do that? I know you infused a little bit of it in your discussion of the why, but how would you highlight and describe the how you um, do that?
So one of the things we found out is people kept saying, I don't know how to cook the food. I've never tried that before. Or heard this one a lot from people in their 30s. My grandma cooks. Or I take the food to my mother's house. And so we started doing cooking demonstrations. Around the time that we started the urban garden, my wife got a contract to manage a brand new farmers market in the Glenville area of Cleveland. And so we started doing cooking demonstrations, composting workshops, rain barrel workshops, trying to get people acclimated to agriculture and conservation again. And I guess the biggest how we do it is meeting people where they are and engaging them. And a couple of years ago, we started an urban homesteading class because we had so many people who wanted to know how to do what we do. And so at one of the gardens that we have, we basically bring people there to learn how to grow and then go to their home to show them how to do it there, whether they've got a big backyard or a patio in a high-rise apartment. So trying to get people to taste the food, see how easy it is to grow, and then become acclimated to eating fresh local food, whether they're buying it at a market or growing it themselves.
Wow. Wow. So you've made some references to yourself and your wife. Is there any others involved in your activities, or do you have an organization, or what's your circle or your tribe?
So we're members of the Black Environmental Leaders in Cleveland, so that's one connection. But really, our tribe is a group of people that have been connected to us from the farmers market that we are, and those in the neighborhood that have been through our urban homesteading class, that we're really looking to how we impact the neighborhood. We've got a couple of connections where we've helped people develop products. We're actually about to start doing some things this year with indoor growing. And so we have a group of, it truly is intergenerational, folks from their 20s to their 70s that are working together to, as I said, provide local food and health and wellness education. So we have an herbalist that we work with. We have a medical researcher that we work with. My wife and I have both been facilitators in research projects at Case Western Reserve around health and wellness. So we're really trying to collect a group of people that can impact it on numerous levels. We're just tired of seeing Black folks die too soon.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've heard the group, and I'm on the I think I'm on the distribution list for the group. And I wasn't able to attend some of the meetings. I think that now you guys have pivoted to doing some virtually, I believe.
Actually, they're all virtual now. So some are hybrids. Sometimes we have some people meeting together and the rest online. So yes, definitely.
Okay.
You can just be with us on Zoom.
Okay. Well, I think that we're going to have to be in that space. It seems like there's the opportunity for some collaboration or some synergy there. So yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Thanks for
the opportunity.
Yeah.
This is Amber, real quick. Mm-hmm. Also, Mike, there's a group down here in Cincinnati that is interested in doing some of this. They were talking about doing some of the same work that you're already doing. So I've connected them to Ambrose to connect to you so you all can talk. But they're looking at purchasing about 10 acres of land in the city, which is rare to find that large a lot in the city, and doing a lot of the same work you're already doing. So be looking out for that call.
Okay.
Will do.
Yeah, and I think I recently got a call from someone, Amber, that you referred up. So yeah, so we can make that connection. Yeah. So we are getting close to the top of the hour. What I'd like to do, around this time in our hour, is to give folks an opportunity. Some of my teammates to introduce themselves. I think everyone has spoken already, but are there any upcoming classes, programs, sessions that you guys have or would like to share for us for a moment here? Anything to tell folks about? Or and Crystal, even to you, if there's anything in your region, even if it's outside of CED. Anything going on?
Yes, I'm actually driving right now. Give me 1 second. I can tell you exactly what it is. I'm always on the road, by the way. So give me one moment, Ambrose, and I will let you know.
Okay.
One of the things that, you guys have heard me speak before about the Entree to Entrepreneurship program. And for those of you who don't know that, what it is a program that I've developed where we are introducing the option of being an entrepreneur to those who have a record, or they haven't even gotten back into society. They're about to be released from jail within the next 3 to 6 months. So no matter where they are in their stage, if they're interested in entrepreneurship, we're introducing that. We are using Ambrose's document called the 4-page business plan, which is a very, very detailed kind of concept in the beginning stages of doing a full business plan, and just giving them that as an option. And so I'll be doing a brown bag luncheon series, virtual, online, starting in January, where we will be talking about some of the business topics. And that's in partnership with the Montgomery County Office of Reentry. And we are also going to schedule guests who are returning citizens who have businesses throughout the state of Ohio, so they can chime in on our subject. But we're going to be talking about budgeting, marketing, branding, capability statements, things like that, in a small workshop format. So that's coming up, and that series will start in January. It's originally supposed to start this month, but it's going to just be at the beginning of the year.
All right, thank you for that, Amber. Anyone else? Paige, do you have anything? You're always out on the road. Anything to share today?
Oh, just the regular things going on, but I'm really excited to start a conversation over in Jackson County. That's kind of an interdisciplinary conversation. So we're looking at some community resiliency and tourism projects, but we're also talking to them about how they sort of have a rebirth to their fruit production. So Jackson County used to be known for their apples. In fact, they have an annual Apple Fest, but they actually don't have any working orchards in existence right now. And so being able to partner with our A&R team and CED to sort of look at what the future might hold in that conversation. So that's something we'll be tackling after the start of the year. So beyond that, I'm super excited about what the winter is going to bring for all of us, especially the conversation around market ready and working with small scale farmers and producers to be able to have a broader and better access to sell their products with. And I'm excited about that. And that goes back to the why. That is part of the mission of Extension, is to have a positive impact on individuals and farmers, communities, all people of all kinds.
All right.
And I'm really excited about what next year's going to bring. So, and I'm glad to be with all of you. So.
All right. Thank you. Eric, you opened your camera there. You're always moving around up there in the northwest region.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this will apply to folks on the call. A lot of what's happening the first part of next year will be in person. But as you know, Ambrose, the part of the what for us is we support small businesses, we assist small scale farms, and we catalyze personal professional development, and of course build civic and community capacity. So if I run through those, I got a couple things coming up. Around the small business, we've got the Ready, Set, Grow for Startup curriculum, and we provide that through a group process in both Toledo and Junction. So if you'll be on the call, know somebody in those communities. We're still hammering out the dates, but there'll probably be a series that'll start in February in each of those communities. Catalyzing personal and professional development, we are starting in January our workforce development curriculum through the Worth Center, which is the correctional facility in Lima that serves the 9-county region. Those will be online, and I'm sure if somebody wants to think about sort of that personal branding and record selling and those kinds of things, I'm sure we can find a way to get people into that. And then the small farm piece, I would say this, also starting in January, it'll probably be the second Thursdays when we don't have these sessions, open office sessions. What we'll be doing is we'll be introducing our small farmers to the USDA and other agency partners who might be able to give them resources to scale up. So that's something that'll be coming up, and that'll be virtual, so that is statewide, and we welcome anybody to those. So pay attention to that. Those announcements will start coming out soon. And then if you're in the Lima area, we'll be starting the, we call it Spaces to Places. It's our Neighborhood Leadership Academy. It's a civic leadership series, 8 sessions that we'll be doing in Lima beginning in February. And so there's options across our different focus areas here in Northwest Ohio and online.
Wow. There's a lot going on. And I know we're right here at the top of the hour. And both Paige and Eric also mentioned, I heard references in there in terms of sort of the how, in terms of that cross program, working with some of the other aspects of extension, the other our colleagues in the other program areas. And that is something that's very good too, that we probably should get into at some point. So it won't be for this session, but maybe we can get into and share that with the public as well, in terms of how what the different program areas are and how they are working together. I see that Hunter's hand is raised. Do you want to comment? Are you able to unmute your mic?
Hi, yes. I know we are kind of wrapping up the meeting, but I just wanted to say I appreciate the conversation. And I am a staff member at Red All Green Partnership. I've been connected with them for about 5 years now, starting off when I was like 16 and just working my way up through there. So when you was talking about like the why, like you do it, I think it's just basically you get introduced into something that's kind of fun and creative that you don't know like where it's going to lead to, but you see that over time as you connect to other people or just connect to resources and networks, it just expands. So I'm coming from the youth component, to be honest, because I'm only 23, turning 24, but I've been kind of involved in this work, just talking to different people like older than me and kind of just building up from there. So I would invite y'all to come back to Red All Green Partnership and see maybe we can set up a tour. But I definitely feel like the youth have to have a voice or have the opportunity to move resources for communities. Yeah, I don't know why I went to go with the conversation, but I did want to speak up before we end it. So I have your email and we could just follow up through there. But yeah, I'd love just to continue this.
All right, definitely. And thank you for sharing. So I'm sure that Hunter, that you noticed some of the pictures then in the presentation were familiar to you as well then, because Red All's been one of the original community partners with Extension dating back to 2017 in helping to deliver some of the agricultural training and sessions that we were doing around the state. So yes, small world there. All right. Well, we're right here at 3:00. I do want to thank everyone for logging in and joining us today for our discussion, and be on the lookout. We have your contact information. So for our next sessions going into the new year, we'll make sure you all get notification of that, and look forward to sharing our CED Office Hour Live. Thank you.